The 2025 tour is up and running and cooking and going and other verbs that, you know what I mean. Come see me on the road. This coming Tuesday, I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida at the Funny Bone. And then Wednesday, I'm going to be in Naples. And Thursday, I am at the Dania Improv in Dania Beach, which is basically Fort Lauderdale and Miami. So if you live in either of those places, this is your show on Thursday. See you there. And then I'm going to be in Portland, Maine, cold as all get out, on January 31st to February 1st. And then February 11th, 12th, and 13th, I'm in Wisconsin. I go Madison, Appleton, and Milwaukee, and then Kansas City, Springfield, Missouri. And I'm all over the place. And I'm announcing a bunch of new dates sporadically every few months. Boston is coming up, and the special taping that has officially been announced and is on sale. Again, I'm filming my special in Sacramento at the Punchline April 4th and 5th. And I'm filming on the 5th, which is Saturday. I'm filming both shows. So Friday will be kind of warm up 2 shows, and then Saturday will be the special taping. So if you live in Sacramento or the Bay Area, come out to the show. Come out and see my first special taping. Whoa, crazy. I'm excited, man. I'm obviously a little bit nervous, but about time if you ask me. And I'm back with a podcast that starts right now. Hey, I'm back. Willie B Pod, back in action, was gone for like a month, I think. And as you can see, made some big changes. Big change number 1, and actually the only change, is your boy's hands-free. My mom got me this microphone stand for Christmas. Very cute. Very cute reason to be hands-free. And it's weird. I don't know what to do with my hands. I already want to adjust this so many times. There we go. That already feels better. Weird. This actually feels like a podcast now, instead of me like doing a weird stand-up show for nobody. And I messed up the lighting too, so I had to make some adjustments. So also, no one really cares. But dude, hands-free is crazy. I can Google things in real time. Like, what should I Google? Square root of 69. That's silly. 8.3. You know how long it would take me to do that if I had one hand? So long. What else can I figure out? How big is Mars? 2,106 miles. That's the radius. That was my first guess. It was probably around 2,000 miles. As you can see, big changes. And I am going to make some changes to kind of my content output this year. Not going to be doing the pod every week. It's just, and again, you know I keep it real with you guys. Always have, always will. The effort does not meet. I mean, hey, start over, Will. Start the whole pod over. The work does not meet the, I really can't find the word. It's like the help. It's like this, the pod is not exactly growing or helping my career much. It's more of just an outlet to connect more with you guys and have a platform, right? Which is great, but it's not worth it for me to do it every week. So I'm going to do it sporadically. And the thing I am going to do more of is I'm bringing back the vlogs. OG fans of mine will remember I did a stand-up vlog years ago, like before I was headlining, like in 2021 and 22, I think. And it's funny, the vlog got more views than like any podcast ever has, and I had like no subscribers. So clearly a vlog is a model that people are attracted to. And so I decided I'm going to bring it back. And starting with the Florida trip, I'm going to vlog kind of the whole time. And I don't know, just kind of bring that back and kind of take you guys on the road with me in real time and show the behind the scenes stuff that I talk about. Instead of talking about it, let me just show you guys what's going on, right? So again, pod will come out sporadically, but the vlogs I'm going to try to do one every trip. That's my plan. And I was going to do the first one in Minneapolis. However, life was kind of crazy. That was basically when the LA wildfires were at their peak. And that's all I kind of wanted to start the show about, is just kind of talking about, just talking about my experience as an LA resident during truly probably the most devastating thing I've ever seen happen to LA in all of the 10 years I've lived here. Luckily a lot of people checked in, and it was just, I tried to kind of post a little bit that we're doing okay, just so people aren't like, hey, are you okay? We really got lucky with the With the location of where we are, where it's kind of like the big two ones were the Palisades and the Altadena fire, and they were on either side of us basically. We were in the middle. And so it was kind of one of those things where we got really lucky with the location, and we never even had to evacuate. I know a lot of people who had to evacuate, and some people who like lost their homes. It's been really heavy. It's I'm recording this on, I think that the day I'm recording this day, the day I'm releasing it, which is Friday the 17th, and things feel very much like back to normal now, which is strange. I think we thought that this could be going on for a long time, and I think for a lot of people, life will not be back to normal for quite some time. So again, I'm a ton of gratitude for life at this point. But things feel okay now, and it was crazy. The first day that the fires started, there was something really eerie going on where we had this day of like crazy winds. It was so windy. I walked Oso in the morning and was like, dude, what is happening? People are joking about it, and turns out that's the night that like the fires started. And dude, I remember, and to pivot into a funny thing real quick, dude, it was so windy that I fell. I tripped and fell on the ground like an old man. I haven't taken a fall in, I don't know, since I was a kid. I mean, bro, fell. It was at night when I was walking Oso, and these things had gotten blown off the tree, like those weird wood spiky ball things. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what they're called. And me looking it up would just not be worth the payoff, even though I could if I wanted to with both hands. Bro, I could look this shit up so efficiently, but I'm not gonna because it's not worth it. They were all over the ground, which I did not know until it was too late. Oso slips, he falls. Granted, he's an old dog and his back legs have been a little wonky lately. That's just nature. He fell, and I was going to go pick him up. And right when I go to help him, I am immediately on the ground. I was standing, and then I slipped on these wood balls, and I was on the ground immediately. There was no part of it that made me go, whoa, 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 I'm falling. I was standing, and then I was like, why am I laying down? It was that fast. I luckily didn't get hurt. That's such a time to get hurt. I just biffed up my hand a little bit. It's much better now. I had cuts all throughout my hand. I was bleeding. Dude, I immediately started laughing, by the way. When I fell, I started just laughing because I was like, I can't believe I just fell. I can't believe it. Granted, if I hurt something, I'd be a lot less funny. But the fact that I fell and I was okay, I was like, I can't fucking believe that I fell. And so that was the start. That was the night the fire started. And so I have this weird thing where if I end up getting a scar on my hand from where I fell, I'll forever remember this tragedy in a weird way. And it kind of to reframe a lot of it, it's been really cool to see LA kind of band together as a community. I think living here for so long, it's very much felt like everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's so self-absorbed in this town. Everyone's pursuing their own stuff, and just you're very me all the time. And so this is the first time that I've really felt not just a pride in my city and a deep kind of hurt for the city, but I also felt just wow, I feel like we are all one and we are banding together, and it's been beautiful. I donated to a bunch of different places. Kaylee went and volunteered while I was in Minneapolis. That's the whole reason I brought this up, is because I was going to vlog on my Minneapolis trip, but then I realized dude, we were dealing with so much crazy shit. I was leaving when things were very much still up in the air. Kaylee was supposed to come with me to Minneapolis because I stayed with my sister and my brother-in-law and my nephews all live in Minneapolis. So it was basically a family trip. And so she was going to come with me, but we decided that she shouldn't come, to stay with Oso and just kind of be ready in case something happened, because, Oso was with a dog sitter, and we were thinking dude, what a goddamn nightmare that would be if we had to evacuate and he's with a dog sitter who also doesn't have a car. Nightmare. So we were we were not going to go. And so yeah, that was kind of our experience there. And the sketchiest part though was when things were getting really bad. I think it was on a Wednesday night. Yeah, it was the night before I was leaving. we were watching the news and, just monitoring. And that was when there was a fire in the Hollywood Hills, which that was much closer to us. And we were like, okay, like kind of getting a little nervous. And then a Studio City home burst into flames. And I live in Studio City. And it was like, oh shit. And that was when things completely changed, where it was like, oh, pack up stuff. Like, pack a go bag, be ready to go. Luckily, it didn't get to that point. And I think that was like an arson thing, which is crazy to think about. But we got real close to like, go time, get out of here. It was really intense. Luckily, it was okay. Nothing happened. But it was a very liberating experience to like pack a go bag, dude. Like, put all your most prized possessions in a bag and go. It's like, it was really interesting to be like what I grabbed. And luckily, I don't have a ton. I'm not very tied to my belongings. It's really just like my computer is number one, my hard drives filled with shows, like every show from the last 3 years, need that. And like my phone. Those are the things that like I would be devastated if I lost. And then I got like my passport. And when I visited my mom for Christmas, I took home my Star Wars action figures that were my prized possession when I was a kid. Grabbed a few of those guys. They're coming with me, okay? That's what I grabbed. I fell in the street and I grabbed my Star Wars action figures. That's who I am outside of comedy. But again, didn't have to come to that. Thank God. So that's the fire report of kind of my experience of what happened. And it's just, it was dark, but the rebuilding starts now, Moving on, dude. Well, speaking of moving, big life update. Dude, Kaylee and I signed a lease on a house. If I had a soundboard and was not too lazy to set it up. We've been together for like almost 4.5 years and have not lived together at all. And we decided this is the year we're going to do it. And we were like, we want to do a house. And we looked at a few places, and it was like the third place we looked at, and we were like, okay, I think this is it. It's a hard decision of like when you decide to move, you're kind of like, it's like you're waiting for the perfect place, but like you don't know what that is, right? You're like, oh, could we get something better? Or like, should we keep looking? Do we not want to waste this one? Like, what if this is perfect? Do we want to let it go? Like, it was a very like, kind of stressful process, but we were like, we did it, we committed. And so this is the last month that I'm in this apartment, and I'm slowly packing everything up, and it's very emotional because like I've been in this apartment for 5 years, and everything I've kind of substantial in my life has come from like this place. I spent so much of my like formative years here. I met Kaylee during COVID, and she came over for our first date. So we had our first date in this apartment. I've built up my whole career online from this apartment. So leaving is like a very emotional thing. And so, but we're very excited. Funny quick thing is we the first place we looked at, we pulled up, and it was a lockbox situation. So the guy wasn't there. He was just like, here's the code, walk around, check it out. And on the phone, I was like, yeah, is there anything we should like know about the place? And he was like, well, the previous owner was 103, and she actually passed away in the home. And I'm like, and what else? And he's like, and the home is going to be demolished within about 2 or 3 years. I'm like, cool, man. Is this your first day selling houses? What are you talking about? He's like, hey, how do you guys feel about ghosts? Like, what? No. So yeah, didn't go with that one. But we're very excited. It's going to, moving sucks. More just like, moving doesn't even suck. Packing sucks. Like, I do this thing that I'm sure you guys do also. Boy, really, the hands are just, I need to figure it out with the hands. A lot of my shit is in closets, like out of sight, out of mind. I just shove a bunch of shit in a closet or a drawer. And like, that's the hard part, is going in there and being like, dude, this is just a bunch of shit that I'm too scared to throw away. I'm not a hoarder, but like I get hella sentimental. So I'm like, I don't want to throw away so much stuff. So now I'm like coming to terms with cleaning that shit out. That's the worst part. But we're also very excited and can't wait. Live in a house, dude. Can't wait. No more apartment living. No more like buzzing in, sharing walls with neighbors and weird gate garages where just like we have a house with a 2-car garage in a quiet street. Great. Life's good. Can't wait. I don't know where I'm going to do the pod from. It's going to be fun to build that out. So a couple of things I want to cover on this pod was I do want to touch on 2 shows that I did recently. I did the Minneapolis show and then Nashville. And there's not a ton to report from these shows. They were usually the way my shows goes, I'm either there for like a full weekend or I am, it's paired with a couple different cities. Like in Florida, right? I'm doing 3 different cities back to back that are all in driving distance. And Nashville and Minneapolis, funny enough, were 2 places that I went just for one show, which I don't like to do because it's a lot of travel for like an hour of work. But when the opportunity makes sense, I did it. Nashville, the dates just made sense. Minneapolis, it was a family trip. So it was like, oh, while you're here, do a show. It was like that. But both shows went so well, man. Like so well. And the behind the scenes thing I want to talk about is I tried a new method with crowd work, where previously what I would do is I would, in different gaps in the set, I would pick people out to ask questions to. I'd say, hey, so what's your deal? What's up with you? Are you guys together? What do you do for work? Normal stuff like that. And for some reason, I'd been feeling like kind of in a rut with crowd work. Like I remember my shows in like Denver and Phoenix, like those were like popping shows. And like, I didn't really get that like clips that I like loved. I just didn't feel, and it's weird to translate it to like, how many clips did I get? But it was more so like, if I put out a clip, that means I got a moment that I loved and did well at. And I felt like I didn't really get a ton of those moments. And I just like been kind of struggling with crowd work. And so I tried a new method for the first time and I'm not the first one to do this. I've seen other people employ this method of kind of opening up the floor, being like, hey, who's in a happy relationship? Who loves their job? And for whatever reason, it maybe kind of rejuvenated me a little bit, but it like has worked. The moments that I've been able to capture through that have been better. Like for example, Nashville, like I think I got 4 clips from that show. 4 like clips that I feel good about, which is a lot. If I get 1, I'm stoked. And so that was like, okay, clearly something worked there. And so I did it again in Minneapolis and it worked again. It was just, something about it just flows with me. And I've literally only done it twice and it's nothing groundbreaking, but to me, it's like, it made a difference. And maybe that was something that can kind of like I've been feeling a little stuck. It's almost like unstuck me. I got unstuck a little bit and it's creating kind of a little bit more excitement in me. So that's led to some great shows and I'm really excited to keep doing that. And I also think just, I'm sure, like I've always said, crowd work is gambling. So you just never know what you're going to get. So I'm sure also like, a couple of those shows happen to not be the funniest crowd work wise, which happens, but I just wanted to try out a different method and method's working. So, and having a good show in Minneapolis was so important to me because, my sister and my brother-in-law, who I'm incredibly close with, were there. And I did a Minneapolis show during the Just Us tour when I was doing it all myself. I rented this indie venue and the venue was not great. Bad lighting, bad sound, the stage was too high. It was just like it was just not a good fit. And the show wasn't good. It was one of my least favorite shows I've had headlining, which kind of broke my heart because this is the first time that my sister was able to see me in this new light, right? In this being like a headliner, like I made it, I'm really doing it. And the show like sucked. And I was so sad. And it stuck with me for a long time. And of course, everyone there was like, it was great. But I was like, no, you don't get it. That was bad. And so for this show, I was like, man, please be good. It was another venue that was like really big and they do music there mostly. And I was pretty nervous, but luckily the setup was sick. The crowd was awesome and it went great. It went really good. And so I was like happy to not only have a successful show, but then I was so happy to do it in front of family and just really feel like, they'd be proud either way, but feeling like, oh, I feel proud of myself. So now it's like, I know you guys feel that and feeling like it was just like a perfect situation. And I was so happy after, man. I really was just, it was a very special show to me. So random thing before I talk about, Dude, I want to talk about my goals for this year. Quick thing before I got to work with is a strong word. I get to be around Nate Bargatze, who I have never met, never seen perform. Always enjoyed him, thought he was a cool guy from afar. Never really, I don't really watch stand-up, so when a new guy kind of elevates and becomes like a top guy, sometimes I don't really know a lot of their stuff. And Nate's kind of one of those guys where I'm like, I know he's funny, but I'm not like watching his stuff. But I did the Comedy Magic Club one night, as I typically do, and there's two showrooms. It's like the main room and the lounge. It used to be called the lounge, where it's like seats 80 people and the main room seats 250. Randomly, he decided to do shows there all weekend. So he did 2 shows each night in the main room, and then the regular showcase show that I was on was in the small room. So he was in the big room, we were in the small room, and it was really cool. Like, he was in the green room with us, very much just sharing the backstage space. I got to go watch him for like 20 minutes, which was a real treat to watch, like, literally, I think the number 1 top selling comedian in the world right now, like, fuck around and work out new jokes. It was really fun to see, man. And didn't get a chance to meet him, unfortunately, but I got to kind of like be around him a lot, and he just seemed like the nicest, coolest guy. So on some, Will's Hollywood Minute type shit, Nate seems like a really good dude, and he was being pulled in so many different directions of like, have people like there to talk to him, there to see him, people he knows, and it's like he has to like get off stage and immediately start like socializing with like so many different people. He has like no time to sit down and just chill. He's like, do this, talk to this person, meet this person, take this picture. It's like, Jesus, man, it's a lot going on. But he seemed to be operating with such integrity and class. So shout out to him. And then funny enough, when I was home for Christmas, I was with my dad and my stepmom and Kaylee, and they wanted to watch the Nate Bargatze special. And my immediate reaction was like, no, I am not about to sit here and watch a stand-up special. Hell no. I don't do that. But everyone else kind of wanted to watch it. So I was like, all right, you know what? I was like, all right, quit being a brat. I was like, let's watch a couple minutes just to check it out. Dude, I sat there and we watched the whole thing, and I laughed the whole time. I laughed from start to finish. And I have not watched a full stand-up special in years. I mean, years. That's the last thing I want to watch. And frankly, stand-up specials can be really hard to translate. And so it's like, I just was like, did not want to watch it. And sure enough, I was like, fuck, man, that was awesome. And I got to watch some of the jokes that he was doing. I think when I saw him perform, it was before the special came out. So he was able to still perform some of those jokes, because when the special drops, you can't do those jokes anymore. So it's almost like a last hurrah where he's able to do some of those jokes. And it was cool because I got to see them do like, pretty good in front of a 200-seat room, and then watch them crush in front of an arena a couple weeks later on TV. It was really cool. It was a really cool experience, and it made me like, it was a good experience for me to have, is like kind of be more open-minded with consuming stand-up. I know Kaylee gives me a lot of shit because if she finds like a funny stand-up clip, she's like, I can't even show you. And I'm like, you're right. I should be able to watch this shit. I think for a long time, there's a lot of like comparison-itis of like, oh, how did he come up with that? He's so much funnier than me. He or she is, they're so much funnier than me. So it wasn't like an enjoyable process. I was like, it's like a chef in the kitchen watching people make food. You're like, I don't want to watch this. No, you're doing that. How did you do that? That's bad, but how did he do that? It's just like, no, I don't want to watch. Cool experience. I'm more of a fan now because of that. So now cut forward to this year, dude. It is 2025, and I am very excited, man. It's really nice to have a lot of tour dates booked out through. I mean, I'm booked out through May, end of May. Well, at least until May, I am like packed with tour dates, which is gonna be intense. And it's been really nice having these last, end of the month. December was a really chill month, and even the beginning of this month is really chill. Like, I've been really relaxing and having a lot of downtime, and which has been good because I know my life is gonna get like really crazy with the travel, and so very happy to have that. And but also knowing that I have a lot of work is really good feeling, and not to stress about that. And my number one goal really for this year is I just want to sell out more shows. Let's just grow this thing. Because it's like, I'm doing what I want to be doing. Now I just want to elevate it, Even if this is the biggest I get, I still am so fulfilled by it. but I do want to get bigger. I want to move to more weekends. I want to be selling out these shows. So like that's my goal right now, is to just move some more tickets. And from what I've seen, knock on wood, as the following has grown, ticket sales have also grown. So, my goal was 150 a show. That was my goal. And sometimes I'd hit it, sometimes I'm not. Now the goal is more like 200, right? And there's been times where I've been hitting it, and sometimes I haven't, but it's getting very close every time, which is a really good sign. And so that's my number one goal, is to just really move tickets. And I think if there's anything you guys can do to help, like just if you see I'm going to a city and you have friends or family there, tell them to go to the show. I pride myself in put on a very like, not just a good show, but a very like a very something that, what's the word? I'm losing my words today. That everyone can enjoy it. A universally enjoyable show for young, old, no matter what your race is, your sexuality. It's for everyone. So that'd be really cool if you guys could recommend my shows to people that you like or don't like. Now, don't tell them to come because they'll be disruptive of the show probably. That's my number one goal. And it's weird to put shooting the special as number two, but that's that's gonna be a big moment, is doing the special. And it's creeping up. Finally got to announce it on my Instagram, and there was a lot of messages that were really nice. And so that's a big deal. And I hope to have it out by end of May. That's my goal. So once June comes around, I can start touring with like new material. That's the goal. So it's pretty crazy. Starting to kind of realistically start to think about what I want the set to look like, what I want to wear, all the kind of fun stuff. And it's I feel very ready. If I had to do it tomorrow, I'd be ready. But it's nice that I have a couple more months to really like, hone those jokes and get them ready, man. Pretty crazy to be shooting a special. It really is. Excited to talk more about it as it gets closer. And next goal of mine is really just doing the vlogs. I think that's something I really want to get back into, as I said up top. And so the next one, hopefully there should be one out in a couple weeks. That's the plan. And another goal of mine that I haven't really talked about much is something that I've always wanted to be doing, but I couldn't get myself to enjoy the process. But it is screenwriting. I've kind of been falling back in love with movies over this last month. I think I do this thing where whenever there's the Oscars are coming up, I watch all the Best Picture nominees. And so as this year closed out, I am watching like all of the critically acclaimed movies. Like I'm trying to see everything. And it's made me just kind of get back into just filmmaking. And that was my first love. When I was a kid, I would watch like behind the scenes of movies and have dreams of being an actor, director, writer. It's like that was the initial goal. I was not like a little kid pretending I was a stand-up. I was a little kid pretending I was like an Oscar-winning actor who then went on to direct. It's like that was the original dream. And so I feel like I'm starting to get back to the love of that and giving myself kind of time and space to work on that. It's screenwriting is something that I've done a lot of casually, whether it's I've written a lot of like pilots for shows, especially during COVID with all the downtime. I was doing a lot of that. But just the process of screenwriting, I just find so dull and not just kind of hard for me to really enjoy, but I'm really trying to make time to prioritize it and just get into it. And I have been a little bit. And, this is not me saying like, dude, I'm making a movie. Watch out. No, but this is me like holding myself accountable and talking about something that I'm very passionate about, but I don't really have an outlet to really talk about it until now. So that's something I'm really challenging myself to do. And I want to complete like a first draft of a script by the end of the year. That's the goal. Because I've kind of hit a point in my life and my career where in terms of stand-up, like I did it. I set out to be a touring headliner. And I did it. I've headlined mostly all the clubs I've dreamed about. I've sold out some of those clubs. And it's so beautiful because you can never take that away from me. No matter what happens, I did it. And so that's why I'm thinking of like, what else now? I'm going to keep growing and hustling and fucking pedal to the metal and stand up. But then I'm also like, cool, but now let's put some irons in other fires, right? And so that's where the filmmaking stuff comes into play. And, I think I've always had this feeling with myself where I feel like I'm destined for more than just like a road comic. I have a lot more confidence in myself in this business, other than stand up. So that's my little spiel. As the light from the blinds is hitting me right in the eyeballs. I did not mean to do the podcast this late, but I had to do it this late. This is so annoying to me. I really appreciate you guys coming in to stop by as this little check-in on me as a person. I didn't really feel like coming on here and being like, let's talk about Nashville for 15 minutes. Let's talk about Minneapolis for 15 minutes. It's like, no, dude, I don't want to talk about it. Nothing crazy happened. I went there. I was a little sleepy, did the show, went great, went home, was sleepy again, and then it was fine. It was like, those are how the shows go. And, but I did want to mention the crowd work thing because that to me is an interesting thing. So, dude, I'm hands-free. Feels great. This very well could be the last podcast in this set. So, again, Florida next week, Orlando, Naples, and then Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and Portland, Maine, and then Wisconsin. So, again, all the tickets are in the description of the video or the audio platform. Get tickets to the special April 5th, Sacramento. That is on sale. The front row seats are still available. They're like the preferred seats or whatever. So if you want to be a part of it that close and probably be on camera, go get those tickets if you want. And thank you again for all the support. I hope you guys aren't like too frustrated with me like taking a little time away from the podcast. The vlogs I think you're going to be really into because it's a lot of the same shit, but just showing it instead of telling it. So excited to put those out. And yeah, dude, I'm still putting up a bunch of full YouTube clips too of Instagram clips in like the full form in like the uncut versions. Those are still going up once a week, and I'm rocking and rolling, man. It's 2025. I'm excited. I'm rejuvenated, and I'll see you guys on the road. Later.